Ever wonder what it's like to wake up in one country and go to sleep in another? That's exactly what travel dreams are made of. Exploring new places with someone you love, collecting memories, and license plates? But here's the thing. Most people spend weeks planning that perfect trip. We did it all on the fly, and we went to 3 countries in just 3 days. And it might be the most amazing father-son adventure we've ever had. What you're about to see isn't your typical tourist guide. It's how my teenage son and I managed to cross the world's longest sea bridge, navigate China without proper visas, and score the ultimate collector's item within hours of landing. The journey began in Singapore, our home base, with one clear mission: feed my son's obsession with borders, license plates, and geopolitical quirks. Hong Kong, Macau, and mainland China offered the perfect playground. First stop, Hong Kong. We hadn't even unpacked before heading straight to what my son was really excited about: the 55-kilometer-long Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. This engineering marvel isn't just the world's longest sea crossing, it's also a bizarre traffic experiment. Cars drive on the left in Hong Kong, on the right on the bridge, and then switch back to the left in Macau. And that's not even the craziest part. In Macau, some vehicles have 3 different license plates, one each for Macau, Hong Kong, and mainland China. My son, who collects license plates from around the world, was absolutely losing his mind over this. After arriving in Macau, we had that classic travel moment. Yeah, completely lost, Google Maps failing us, lugging our bags through unfamiliar streets, and then plot twist. Even before we found our hotel, we got off at the wrong bus stop and stumbled upon a car workshop where, for just $20, they sold us an authentic Macanese license plate. Talk about being in the wrong place at the right time. Macau is this wild fusion of Portuguese colonial architecture and Chinese influence. We explored Senado Square, the ruins of St. Paul's, and learned how this tiny region has been operating under China's one country, two systems policy since 1999. Then came the surreal experience of taking a bus to Cotai, Macau's answer to Las Vegas. Except here, inside the Venetian, there's no pizza or pasta, just Chinese food. The casino culture collision was mind-blowing. Day 2 brought us our boldest move yet, attempting to visit Shenzhen, China. As we crossed the water by ferry, I couldn't help imagining the Portuguese galleons sailing these same routes 500 years ago. Modern high-speed ferries versus wooden ships with cannons. Same waters, completely different worlds. The immigration situation here was intense. You see, with our American passports, we needed visas, and officials initially turned us away until some random clerk took pity and processed our paperwork. The irony? She gave us a 72-hour visa that would activate at midnight, long after we'd already be gone. We were basically in China without technically being allowed. We were illegal. Shenzhen absolutely shattered our expectations. Clean, futuristic, high-tech. Not the China many Westerners imagine. The Holy Grail was Huqiangbei. I'm not sure if I said that right, but it's one of the world's largest electronics markets. It's a 6-story building where every electronic component imaginable is sold, often manufactured just kilometers away. My son found the parts he wanted for 1/3 the Singapore price. And yes, I still bargain, because when in China, despite all this modernity, you still see old China. Babies napping behind counters, families eating on the floor, people smoking indoors. Truly a fascinating blend of future and tradition. From there, we hopped on a bullet train to Hong Kong, our 3rd country in just 2 days. The train was clean, efficient, and absurdly affordable. Hong Kong hit differently. More chaotic, more vertical, and more intense than either Macau or Shenzhen. That night, I took my son to Ned Kelly's Last Stand, a restaurant I'd visited with my parents when I was 13, way back in 1987. My son is 16 now. The time warp of bringing your child to a place you visited when you were younger than they are now? Completely surreal. Our hotel room was hilariously tiny. A classic Hong Kong experience. Think beds too short, bathroom the size of an airplane lavatory, an elevator slower than downloading on dial-up internet. For our final day, we rode Hong Kong's iconic narrow-gauge double-decker tram system. This thing's been running since 1904. And then we took the Star Ferry to Kowloon, retracing steps I had taken 36 years earlier. Watching my son experience these places for the first time, his eyes wide with wonder at each new discovery, might be the greatest travel souvenir any parent could ask for. As we flew back to Singapore that night, just in time for work and school the next morning, I watched him clutch that Macanese license plate like a treasure. It now hangs on his wall next to the Turkish plate we found abandoned on an Istanbul street and others from around the world. Physical reminders of adventures that shaped his view of our planet. 3 countries, 3 days, countless memories. This kind of whirlwind trip isn't for everyone, but for curious minds fascinated by borders, cultural quirks, and how our world fits together, it's absolute magic. If you've enjoyed this glimpse into our father-son adventure, hit that subscribe button. We're already planning our next border crossing license plate hunting expedition. Drop a comment below with your craziest travel story or what fascinates your kids about the world. Until next time.